I cook that shit up, ghost. I cook that shit up, ghost. I cook that shit up, ghost. I cook that shit up, ghost.
How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing?
How's everybody? How's everybody?
Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yup.
You doing?
Yeah, we can hear you. How's everybody doing?
We appreciate you all from tuning in and talking at Ish. Tonight we're definitely going to be talking about something that's very, very touchy to everyone and all panel guests. We want to get justice for Aquazia Kennedy. Did I say her name correctly?
Yes, Aquazia Kennedy.
That beautiful lady right there. A lot of people know about the title, what's going on. Her life was taken from her, and her justice is ignored. The family has yet to be able to be heard, and they've tried all avenues to be heard. So tonight, we're definitely going to lend them our platform, and we're going to touch everyone we can. So y'all make sure y'all get these shares out, and we tag whoever we need to tag. Nothing will be held back, and they will be able to speak as as they choose, and their voices would be heard. So y'all will hear a story that would be painful, but it needs to be heard. So I appreciate everybody for coming in tonight. All right. So Quincy, we can start with you. I want you to tell us a little something about your daughter. Let the world know
What?
who she is before we get started.
Imagine having that one friend that you told her that you needed help, and before you could get finished, she was already planning to. She was already planning to come and be at your side, and she came. Imagine that one friend that if you needed a babysitter, whether it was a non-emergency or emergency, if you were just calling my phone, could you please quit calling my phone all of a sudden? They keep bumping me off calling my phone.
That's fine.
Imagine a person that pretty much just she did very less for herself, and it worried me. You know, imagine a person where you have friends who don't get along with each other, and somehow she is that one person to get everybody in the circle. Sis, could you please text Tay and tell him that I'm on the live right now? I can't answer the phone. Um, she's that one person that brought everybody together. She had friends all over. She loved kids. She worked as a nurse. While she was pregnant, she was working 16, 17 hours, healthy like, and she was doing it in the safest way, but she was taking care of the elderly people in Union City and in Martin. And they would argue. When she didn't come to where they was looking for her. They was calling asking where she was at because they wanted her there. And she was always saying, man, I'm scared of this job because I don't want them to die on me. Well, she ended up getting killed and died on them.
Yeah. So go ahead and Quincy, go ahead and start us on this case and let us know. I want y'all to explain to the viewers how her life was taken and how it took place. So start from the beginning and let us know exactly how the car got to where it got and how the situation even built up to it. Divided, you can fill in wherever you need, and y'all could just coach this whole situation. I want y'all go ahead and speak. This is y'all platform.
Okay, imagine Demetrius Cosby at the time before the wheels stopped. He is the driver. Imagine his brother as the passenger. Imagine Aquazia in the back seat, pregnant, 33 weeks pregnant, and they have not committed any crimes. And all of a sudden, they start having car trouble. Now, imagine a vehicle that's on the left, exiting, trying to make it to the right because you exiting to the right. The electrical throttle in the gas pedal, the sensor goes out. So the car starts losing power. Other cars see it, see the flashes. He immediately turn it on because he's considered a first responder. He worked for the city. He turned the flashes on. Other cars see the vehicle having trouble and they go around it. The car comes to a complete stop. Other cars see the flashers and they go around. He calls 911. He makes calls to other people. They're scared. They're looking behind them and they see other cars coming, but they're going around them. At this time, Demetrius tells me, he said, Pops, he said, we seen this one car coming. Everybody else, he said, everybody else was getting over. So they was like, we good, but we seen this one car that wasn't changing their pattern, that drifted from the right to the middle lane where they was. Now, understand this. Had they car stopped in that far right lane and he stayed in the right lane, then he could try to lie and say they went in his lane. But his vehicle came off the ramp on the right lane and could have kept going straight by them. His vehicle drifted into the left lane and hit them from behind and knocked all the contents that was in the trunk and the whole trunk up into the inside of the car.
Mm.
He hit them so hard from behind that his vehicle flipped over.
Did they ever say how fast that he possibly could have been coming?
Well, allegedly, speaking to the DA investigator, he told me that he had to use his own analyst system because he couldn't get the complete information from the black box of the vehicle, the Jeep. He said that, you know, it was 60 miles an hour. Now, imagine the ramp being 35 miles an hour. He told me that he had to use his own analyst system because he couldn't get the complete information from the
Does
black
anybody
box.
have their TV or something else going on playing at this time?
He said that
You can hear it in the background.
it was 60 miles an hour. Yeah, I couldn't hear you. Now, imagine the ramp being. I couldn't hear you.
Somebody had it playing in the background on another audio.
Yeah, I heard myself after I spoke. So after that happened, you can imagine if you are a first responder, again, since you didn't slow down and get behind them and turn your flashes on to keep anybody from hitting them, since you hit the vehicle and you caused their injury, you know, you're coming from your second job, and you know, obviously you could have. It's allegedly that you could have been working too long and don't overworked, or whatever it was that you was, whether you was impaired, because we did our investigation and there was allegedly a racy wine bottle in his vehicle.
So before you get to that part, I want when you tell them who hit your daughter, what could you tell them his name and what exactly is his daily job and what was his secondary job?
So his first job is he's a Dallas police officer. He worked at a bar for security. So when you get a job on your second shift job, you have to register through your police department because that's who's gonna be paying you to work somewhere else. You don't. It's not like you're getting a check from that second job. You still employed through the Dallas police. So they approved that, and with that approval, that's them allowing him to work them extra hours. So at that job, there's a bar. It's clearly, you know, allegedly, you know, hey, we know there's liquor there. Hey, so once he hit the vehicle as a first responder, his job as a first responder, police officer should have been, especially with him causing this incident, he was supposed to went to the victims, checked on them, got somebody out the car and started doing CPR, rendering aid.
Yep.
If he'd have did that, the driver, Demetrius, who was not unconscious, would have seen him. If he was still around his vehicle, in his vehicle, Demetrius would have seen him, because immediately when it happened, Demetrius got out the car and went to that officer's vehicle, where the person vehicle hit him, because we didn't find out he was the officer to the news told us. He went to that vehicle and he did not see nobody in the vehicle nor standing around that vehicle, not even steps away. He didn't see anybody. So you get your answer. People need to get the answer from that if he left or not. Because regardless, imagine somebody who's a first responder who don't go and help somebody who he just hit. On top of that, this person, Alvin Carroll Phillip, a Dallas police officer's prior record, he had 2 different incidents before this one that was proven preventable. They was preventable. He hit somebody else, and then he turned around, and they were still allowed. Dallas Police Department still allowed him to drive. And then he hit somebody else again. They still allowed him to drive, and the city got sued for each account. That allowed him to be able to keep driving and finally hit and kill somebody, which ended up being my daughter, Aquazia Kennedy.
What's it? So you're saying that he allegedly left the scene of the crime? I mean, so to speak, of the accident of the car crash. He left the scene.
We have no choice but to speculate that he left, because when you have somebody who is in the victim car who is trying to check and see who hit them and don't see them, when you have that person looking around the area of the vehicle and don't see him, unless he turns into a ghost, there was nobody there. And
Right.
then to prove on top of that, had he even left, allegedly he went down the road a little bit, down by the dump, and radioed secret code to his city police to come and help him out here on the highway, which this jurisdiction belongs to the sheriff's department. Now, had he not left the scene, he would have been seen there. He would have been seen by the car, even 10 steps away from the car. He would have been seen.
By the eyewitness. The
Yeah,
eyewitness.
he should know the law. Stay where you can be seen. You are a police officer. So that didn't happen. That's why we speculate that he left. Okay, now had he also matched that by helping, rendering aid, or also had he matched that by staying on the scene to exchange insurance information? Hey, I'm sorry, this was an accident, and you proved it was an accident by trying to help and stay on the scene and make sure everybody all right, but also use your phone to make a 911 call instead of your radio to radio for your own help. He radioed his friends for his own help because he know he just did something horrific.
And can I interject?
Okay.
So to add to that, so in the body cam videos, you could hear the officers talking to people that were on the scene as well as the officers arriving. And you can hear them say, it's one of ours. And you can also hear them say, we're heading there now. And you can also hear them say, yep, he zipped it up. And
you can hear somebody in the background telling them something about the sheriff department. They say, we don't care. This is one of ours. We're taking this. We're taking this one. They say, we're taking this one.
I wonder what the code of he zipped it up means.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. So, but if we can go back to where Quincy was talking about how his son Michi Cosby was trying to get over. He was trying to get over. He was in the fast lane and he was trying to get over with his hazard lights on when he recognized that his car was going to be in an emergency situation. Then his car stopped. And when it stopped in the second lane from the right. And on the right is also an exit. So we took this exit several times. It's a ramp that takes you onto a 5-lane interstate. And we've taken this many, many times. And you can see in the picture that's showing above, you can see the sign. There's a sign there that says, I think it's talking about a half a mile to the next exit. That's the roundabouts where the accident happened. More than 100 yards from where this happened is the ramp. And we took this ramp many, many times, driving the speed limit. And you can see further up by this sign, this
flat ground. You can clearly
see it clearly. You can see what's ahead of you. And so the thing is, while everyone else saw the flashers and several people drove past them, and then of course we have 7 witnesses who were centered around Auburn Karen Finley, officer badge number 11124. Several people were around him. There was some in front and there was some in the back of him. And they all saw the flashers. And not to count the people who didn't stop. These are the people that actually stopped. They saw the flashers. They saw that they were in an emergency situation. They saw that someone in this car is notifying us other motorists that this is an emergency. And so our point there is, why did everybody else notice it? Because the flashers were on. And they did it in Demetrius Cosby did a great job of notifying other motorists and also trying to put his car in a position to where it's not in the middle in the fast lane of the interstate. And so I just wanted to add that something had to been going on with that officer, as Quincy indicated earlier. Was he speeding? Because that ramp is 35 miles per hour. Was he going to 60, as the DA investigator indicated to us? Was he on his cell phone? Was he distracted by his cell phone? Witnesses also said that he did not apply brakes at all. He just rammed right into them. So, I'll leave that to everyone to decide, what do they think was happening? You can put it in the comments of what you think. And if you have questions about anything we've said so far, please do that, because we want this to be interactive and we want people to understand what really happened a year later. So I just kind of wanted to say that.
Imagine your GPS system every time you ride down the road and traffic is slowed down. That GPS system registers and shows you a yellow line, a red line, and tell you it's a car down on the shoulder.
Yep, absolutely does.
So very interesting.
Also had their hazard lights on. Like, if everyone else can see those hazard lights, what prevented this officer from not seeing these headlights? I mean, these hazard lights. Like, and then for him to veer over, we have to question his ability of driving right there. Why he's not aware of his surroundings and all the other cars are.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So when we look at this whole situation, I mean, we talk about how, the police are covering up, trying to protect their own. And you have to look at everything. I mean, let's just take a look at everything that happened in this accident. I mean, first of all, Demetrius did contact the police department when the car started stalling. He did that as well. But I'm a first responder here in the state of Connecticut. And if I were to get into a car accident where I wasn't badly hurt, or to the point where, I'm at least conscious and can move, I'm going to still go to the aid of the people in that vehicle that was in the accident with me. That's first and foremost. And I'm going to do what I can to try and save those people. Be it my fault or not, doesn't matter. And that's an obligation of any police officer that's involved or in the presence of an accident that occurs like that. They left that baby in that car to die. There was no one seemed to be very, vigilant to, get her out of the vehicle, perform any type of CPR. When you look at the body cam footage, Alvin was the only one getting most of the attention right out the gate. And everything that they did was to protect him and not worry about those babies that was in that car.
And they was out of their jurisdiction doing so, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And
know it in court of law, it always boils down to who was hurt the worst.
Right.
He was clearly not hurt the worst is the passenger, Aquazia in the back, and Demetrius Cosby.
Which was
and the baby.
Right, Quincy?
And I'm gonna use this just as an example. If you were to, we'll just say you got into a fight with another individual and you were protecting yourself, but you got the best of that individual. When the ambulance shows up, they're going to care for that individual before you. Which means that when those police arrived, they did absolutely nothing in terms from looking at this as a critical situation to try and save everyone in that vehicle. They immediately went to Albany. They immediately, even on the way there, they were talking with him. He was on his cell phone. He goes to his car. He puts on a jacket so that he blends in with everybody else that was out on the highway that night, and not identify himself as a police officer. He did nothing. And that's inexcusable. That alone should have required him to be taken off of the streets until a full investigation was completed. They clearly did none of that. And how we know it wasn't their jurisdiction is because when I was in Texas 3 weeks ago, I actually went to the police department, and a police officer told us that particular stretch of the highway, usually, because I asked the question, is it the Dallas Police Department's jurisdiction or is it the Sheriff's Department? And we were told that particular stretch of highway was the Sheriff's Department.
Exactly.
And you can,
I was there at the same time with him.
I was just going to add, I'm sorry, Quincy, you can also hear on the body cam videos that they knew early on that it was the Sheriff's Department's jurisdiction. It was their investigation.
Yeah.
But it was one of their own.
That's what they said. They said, we don't care. This is 1 hour. We're taking this.
And Quincy, how many weeks was your daughter pregnant for?
33 weeks pregnant.
So she was about ready to almost deliver her baby, right?
Yes.
And they didn't render no help and no first aid to her first. She should have been immediately the first person that got that attention.
And on the body cameras, you can hear the witnesses saying, why ain't y'all helping her? You can hear the MT saying, hey, I got him. Y'all help me with her. Y'all help me with her. And their response to him was, no, you need to move. You need to move out of our way. So had he quit, he wouldn't even been able to revive the passenger. The passenger would have been gone.
So now, while he was reviving the passenger, he's trying to get help to render aid on her, and they ignored it and denied him aid for her, even though he was telling them that it just seems it's just intentional at that point.
Yes.
Well, they were. So Quincy has slide by slide, minute by minute, second by second, what they were doing while the EMT was saving Cortavius. They were searching the car with her body in the back of the seat. And he has minute by minute, second by second, what they were doing around her body. They were grabbing things that came from that were thrown. I guess when he crashed into them, the trunk contents went to the back seat, and they were taking stuff out, and her body was there
and moving her body around to different positions.
Yeah, while they were searching. But see, here's the thing too about that. Even if what they found inside the trunk or inside, when the contents were forced from the trunk into the back seat. Even if they found anything illegal, what does that have to do with what happened?
Right.
None of that has anything to do with the police officer running into the back of the vehicle at a high rate of speed without stopping. That has nothing to do with anything.
They was looking for justification.
But justification for what?
Of for the officer. They was looking for a cover-up justification. That's exactly what they
but that's a excuse my friend, that's a
they're supposed to
cover up.
Yeah, they're supposed to render aid first and then investigate.
Yeah,
they rendered aid first and then they investigate, but they went backwards.
Correct. Yep. Now I can see,
and then they didn't find anything.
They took the protect and serve, and none of that happened.
Before we go further, let me remind everybody: make sure we watch profanity and we don't use the word accident.
Please do.
At this point, it's not an accident because we're going to be connected with news outlets with this, so we just want to keep it.
Yeah, my apologies.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Definitely.
But you would think that that police officer was chasing them because they did something wrong and it caused an accident. That's not the case at all.
Right.
So that part is just it's a smoke screen. They were looking, like you said, they were looking for something, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they found.
Yep. You're right. So Quincy,
Yeah, because that's a scenario. I mean, a narrative that, like, oh, let's prove let's prove this. We found something, but we didn't find something. No, it don't matter regardless.
But whatever you found did not cause you to cause that accident.
no, it didn't.
Right.
You were not in the commission of chasing criminals.
This was a stalled vehicle. This was a stalled vehicle. That's what it sounds like to me. A stalled vehicle was stalling out on the road that came to a complete stop. A complete stop where other cars was aware and went around. From the eyewitness account, it seems to be this man was incoherent in some type of way.
Yep.
Veering from one lane to another without a turn signal, allegedly. And I mean,
And no brake.
This small vehicle that's at a complete stop, and you ran into the back of it.
And another point is you're a trained police officer. You're trained to be able to avoid hazards like that.
Yep. You sure are.
Well, apparently he's not trained because this is he's had 2 preventable accidents, which we're not calling this an accident. This was preventable, obviously, but it was callous.
Yeah. Yes. Shame on the Dallas Police Department. Because not only
that's why he probably called his people. That's why he probably called his people.
Yeah.
And Quincy has a picture of the walkie-talkie in his pocket that was probably used to radio in his Dallas police friends.
Yeah, if we can we I know everybody focus on that picture there that's up there, but I want to get on that later if we can and show them actually searching to show the videos of them actually searching the car while my daughter is still in the back seat.
All right, you want that one of those pictures placed right now?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Those, yes,
James. Quincy. You have several, and I feel like you really need to show the audience what you showed me earlier, so that they can understand how bad this really is. Are you able to? Is Quincy able to share his screen?
He won't be able to, but if he places it in his inbox, I can share it from there.
Okay, put him in the inbox.
Okay. What I'm going to do, while we doing that, can you start sharing the officers out there actually searching while my daughter's in the back seat? That way people will be able to see that while we're on that topic, and show all those videos of them with those screenshots from the body cam of them, holding the guns and getting this. Yeah, that's one gun that they got at the car. If people zoom in, zoom in as good as you can. Be as specific as you can. You're gonna see my daughter sitting there in the back, and there's gonna be more pictures that he's gonna show where you're gonna be able to. Because when we talking, we actually talking to the people, y'all. So what you're gonna be able to see is them getting more and more stuff out that vehicle. And while you guys is doing that, I'm going to have to, the only way you can see her hand and everything right there still in the vehicle. So what I'm going to do is while we're doing this, you might not be able to see me, but I'm gonna have to get off of this to go and get those pictures into the inbox. Is that cool?
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, do what you need to do.
Okay, so give me just a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, Devada, correct me if I'm wrong. That firearm that they're holding up, I mean, the weapon that they found in the vehicle, that was a legal firearm to own, correct?
Yes, so it is a legal firearm owned by Demetrius Cosby, Quincy's son. Quincy was with him. Obviously, Quincy came down immediately, and 2 weeks later, he got his guns back. And as you know, the law in Texas, you can carry but those guns were in the trunk. And of course, with everything going from the trunk to the back seat, that's what they find. And that's what they're grabbing. They grab other stuff. Quincy's going to show in slides that they're grabbing other items from the car as well, while Quay's body is sitting there.
And that's crazy in itself. That the amount of attention that they're giving some guns that cannot be used because the person is no longer with them at that time, and they don't render aid. It don't even look like they even cared to even try.
They didn't.
The negligence is ridiculous. Well, not the negligence. Let's just say the ignoring of life.
Yeah, because the front seat passenger, they're not even the ones that rendered aid to him. It was one of the witnesses. He was, I believe it was like an EMT or a nurse at one of the medical facilities.
So these body cam footage is from the Dallas Police Department or the Sheriff's Department?
Quincy would have to answer that because I'm not sure. Quincy would have to answer that. I'm not sure.
We was told to go to the Dallas Police Department and get this, but my attorney ended up getting it, and during discovery, she did not know that we did in discovery we had the right to see them, and she did not know that she was at her house, showing us through a screen share during discovery. We was here at home, and while she was showing them, I was screenshotting these. Okay. So these came from the Dallas Police Department.
Okay, so they was ones that's doing the search of the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Outside their jurisdiction, searching the vehicle that's involving one of their officers. The whole thing sounds negligent to me because no one is rendering help to the young lady that's in the back seat.
What negligence is included, like accident. You're right, but it's callous because it's far past negligence.
Yeah,
it's callous and reckless because they are making premeditated decisions.
Yeah,
when you accidentally do something like this, that's different. But they are doing this by purpose. That's callous.
Right.
And another thing I noticed is
for correcting me, bro.
I didn't mean to make it.
No.
If they thought that, sorry about that. If they thought that the guys or anybody was in that car, if they thought it was anything criminal, so they're searching the car as if they done something criminal. Why would no one wear gloves the entire search? So you contaminate the crime scene if they even tried to push it that way.
So there was one person wearing gloves, which Quincy will show, you will show, James, when Quincy give you the still shots, and you'll also see other officers outside of the car. So you had several people that were involved in not rendering aid.
And y'all have to give me a minute because I wasn't prepared. I gotta crop these because it's showing, like when I screenshot, it's showing too much where it's gonna look like a small picture until it's cropped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got to
Miss Sanders just put in the chat that she may not have been deceased at this point. That's correct, Miss Sanders. Mrs. Sanders. Because we don't know. We don't know if she had a chance to live because they didn't give her that chance. When she was in that back seat,
I can tell you this: when they finally got her out, she had tears on her face. when they finally got her out, she had tears on her face. So I believe she sat back there crying, wanting them to help her. While they were searching the car, she was crying, and the baby's in the stomach suffering. And I believe she sat there in the rigor mortis sit in, and she transitioned. I mean, it's obvious. When he finally got her out the car, he was actually doing CPR on a dead body. She had already died.
Can I say something about this picture that we're looking at? So this picture that we're looking at, he's not trying to get her out. He's actually moving her.
Oh yeah,
he's moving her arm so that he can reach for something. Wow. But like I said, Quincy has the order in which it will come in to show people exactly what happened. But he's not trying to get her out. He's moving her arm so that he's looking for something.
See, I would initially thought that I thought he was put that at that point that he was pulling her out. Now that you say that he just moved her.
Not at this point.
Oh yeah.
Not even
because you'll see that they'll take something else out. If you look at the 2:31:02, you'll see 2:31 and some more seconds. They're holding something else in their hand. They were not trying to get her out.
How do you not pull this baby out of this wreckage? That is beyond belief. Beyond belief.
Oh yes.
And this is why this story definitely needs to be heard, and it needs to get to where it needs to get, because like you said, this is callous at this point. It's premeditated cover up for sure.
Yeah.
It's damaging, like for the mind to even think of you not being cared for in your time of need by people that's sworn in to protect you. To protect you, and they did not even attempt to protect this young lady.
And that's how you die. Man.
Yeah. No one is checked for a pulse. I see they holding our hand in this photo here, but they not checking for a pulse.
Not to mention, she had a spinal. What if she's still living and had a spinal injury? And the way they're just moving her around. So either they made up in their head she's all the way gone, it doesn't matter, or you just didn't care.
Well, that's a good idea and that's a good thing, but he wouldn't have took out and tried to do CPR.
Right.
Because Cortavius, Quincy, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cortavius was unresponsive. But the EMT still did CPR.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived.
I'm gonna show y'all these pictures. It's gonna blow your mind. I'm getting them. You can see clear as day. She is in the car and they are searching. Man, it's very callous and it's sad because when we finally got this, how long did it take us to get that? Because at first they sent 241 something paperwork or whatever, 911 calls that was related to somebody else's incident that happened on the 1st. And so when we finally got this, I can't even remember the month. I think what was it, 9 months in?
Yeah, I think it was about 10 months.
Sis?
I think it was in October.
Yeah, this was October.
So we couldn't help but speculate anything because nobody had called us from the Dallas Police Department, the Sheriff Department, nobody from nowhere. And they still haven't.
So
nobody has came to get the family to take us to the scene. Nothing.
So Quincy, so what you're saying is, first, what you received from the dash cam was incorrect information of someone else's situation, and then later on you received the actual the dash cams or police cams or whatever you needed from the actual situation. So they sent you someone else's information first, correct?
I'm glad you said dash cam. Yeah, we have yet to see the dash cams. So yeah, they sent us 911 calls at first. That was it. That involved somebody else's incident on the highway or in the city or whatever that have nothing to do with Aquazia. Yes, and after that, it still took them at least another month and a half to actually finally give it to my attorney. And like I said, during that whole time of waiting that long, we had not been contacted by the police to be told anything true or false from their mouth to not speculate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from that point, it was like complete radio silence. You know, it's like we thinking, all right, at some point we're gonna be patient. They're gonna contact us. They're gonna be letting us know something. So we thinking it's still being investigated. Come to find out, they had completed the investigation in February.
So the investigation has been done, but y'all wasn't notified that it was done. They just they leading y'all on as if the investigation is still going on, but in reality, they had already given up because the cover up was done.
Yeah, I think they honestly thought that Quincy was just going to walk away and go back to Tennessee. But we did let it know throughout the year. We've done interviews. We've been on Facebook. We've reached out. We've actually been to the Dallas police. We've been to the sheriffs. We've been to every building of the city of Dallas that you can think of to let them know we need answers. And we haven't heard from anyone. We also applied for victim compensation in Texas. And we got a letter from the attorney general saying that a crime would have to be committed. And ironically, two of the crimes that would be committed in order for you to get this victim compensation is rendering aid or fleeing the scene. They did both.
You're right.
But tell them what they called what happened to her, sis.
So Quincy had made an inquiry into internal affairs, not an inquiry, but a complaint into internal affairs about Judson Graham, who was one of the officers at the scene. And he actually rendered CPR way after they took Quay out of the car, after they searched the car. Then he does CPR. He had texted Quincy inappropriately. And Quincy had reported that
2
to
days
internal
later.
affairs. Quincy gets a letter from the police chief saying that, calling it a traffic citation.
So they called it a traffic citation.
And they said, we don't investigate citations.
But it was a loss of life. It was life that was taken. And as the viewers, as y'all stay around, it's gonna come into, and you're gonna see about why we all feel that he was inebriated, and you're gonna understand more about this story of why there is no such thing as this just being a traffic violation. There is nothing that just says this is a traffic violation. The traffic violation will show that the driver did something wrong. The driver did nothing wrong. He did everything preventable.
You get no ticket.
And if you check the statute for any state, anytime there's a motor vehicle accident where there's a fatality, there's an immediate need for a sobriety test.
Immediately.
And none of that occurred on the scene. None of that occurred at the hospital or wherever he went to get medical attention. None of that was done. It's not in any report. Now, if that had been you or I that committed that accident, that was going to be the first thing that they did, was to give us a breathalyzer or take blood at the hospital.
Yep.
And allegedly, we say that because there was a report. There was a report that said he did not get a sobriety.
So so was it said that Quincy, if I heard you correctly earlier when we talked, that he denied getting into the ambulance? Well, didn't deny it. He just said, I don't want to go, basically. He didn't want to get in the ambulance.
Yes, the body camera on the video, you can hear the fire rescue guy. And if you want to, you can show that picture of him texting on his phone while the fire rescue guy is standing beside him.
Hey, Quincy, there was some eyewitness account statements too, right? Like the driver of the car, didn't he have a statement? Then they pull him out.
Well, they failed to get his statement correctly. You know, he had a concussion, and they didn't fairly even question him. He hasn't did a statement. And
Quincy.
That's one thing they failed on. And then some of the witnesses, we're not going to say their name because we don't want people to reach out to them the wrong way. But they left people's name out to where we couldn't contact them.
They didn't get any witness statements. Let's be clear on that. They did not get any witness
Nah,
statements.
yeah, statements that, but also they left it to where we had to search them down. Well, not me, but my team had to search them down because I haven't been able to talk to any of the witnesses. I don't plan on talking to them because I don't want people to think that I coerced anything. So we just looked up the names as far as anything. And one of the that's how we even knew it was witnesses. We had to find out by investigating. So one of the witnesses is on the body camera, and that's how we went from that to this to even know there was witnesses. And you can hear him on there saying he was there the whole time. You can hear him. He's the MT who saved Katerius Cosby's life. He said, "I saw everything." And he said, "Oh, why y'all trying to arrest me?" They threatened to arrest this man instead of making him a hero. They said, "You're going to go to jail if you don't stop." He said, "Why y'all want to arrest me? I'm out here helping. I'm doing my job. I'm an MT." And then you can see the body camera, the police walking him away, trying to become his friend.
He actually walked him to his car. He walked him to his car and he left at that point. That was it was much later, but it was like maybe a couple of hours later. But he walked him to his car and the EMT pulled off. You can see it in the body cam.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And we don't have his name. We don't have his number. This is a major fatality, and you don't get his name. And he told you right there on the camera that he's seen everything. It's a reason behind it. Well, he probably seen if Alvin left or didn't. Hey.
Well, and the thing about that is, if you look at the crash report, there's no witnesses on the crash report at all.
Exactly. I had asked for the picture of the officer out there kissing and the fire rescue guy beside me.
I'm just trying to pull that picture up for some reason and paste it, and I can paste it on my side, and it's doing something weird with his face, like it's trying to prevent me from posting it. I'm gonna try it again.
Okay.
You seen me just jump to another picture. I wanted to see if it was gonna work, and it, what I'm saying, it worked fine. But this picture right here, for some reason, it keeps.
Let me know when it's up, because I can't see. I'm still doing these.
Okay, it should be up now.
Okay, now the person on the right of the screen, he's with the fire rescue. You can hear him tell, and that's Alvin texting on his phone. He got Adidas jacket on. He's apparently not hurt. He's out there walking around the scene, standing over my daughter. He's allowed to go in and out his vehicle. Evidently, the fire rescue guy was trying to get him to go on and get in the ambulance to get help and go to the hospital, because you would think you get immediate help if you're out there hurt. And he must have refused because he knew that he gonna get his blood alcohol. He get in that ambulance. So the fire rescue guys heard saying, "Well, if they get this, you're fucked. You're going to be screwed." Excuse my language. You're going to be screwed. But that's exactly what he said on the body cam.
Well, he spent a lot of time on his phone. So clearly throughout that whole ordeal, someone was coaching him.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you look at the crash report, it tells you what everybody's conditions are. It says that he was critical. Does he look critical to anybody?
No, and that's probably why. I mean, if he's not talking to somebody that's coaching him on what to do, then clearly he can't get out of his phone enough, and that's probably why he caused the accident along with being inebriated in the first place. Me as a police officer, if I just took someone's life, there's no way that I'm paying more attention to my phone other than that person. I'm gonna do what I gotta do at that time for that person and that family, and then I would deal with the consequences later. But I'm not gonna play with that phone like that. That it's too much time with that phone. It's not enough focus on what should be done.
He was too busy chewing bubble gum and being relieved that his team showed up.
Hey everybody, my name's Raul. Does anybody know his alcohol content? Did anybody take that from him to find out exactly what level it was?
They didn't do a test.
Blood alcohol test on him.
They denied that. He denied that. I want to know.
Yeah, the crash report don't have it on there.
what's the history with this officer? This officer looked like he got a track record of, following him.
Fill us in if they know any history of this officer.
I mean,
Yeah,
if I say it looks like someone drunk is not going to stand that steady. They're going to be pacing back and forth, and he's calmly on his cell phone like he did this before. You know what I'm saying?
Great observation.
That's what I'm saying. A person that's drunk is not going to just first thing they're going to do is grab their cell phone. First, they're going to find a footing, a balance. Then
What's
they're going to
yeah.
start
So you
realizing,
can.
like, wait a
And
minute,
right
what
now
did I
you're
do?
looking at a still. Right now you're looking at a still shots, but the body camera videos will reveal that he did pace back and forth.
Okay.
His speech was slurred. He couldn't finish a sentence. And you can see
Okay.
he just had the little, and like I said, it's subjective when you look at it. But he definitely had body signs. So again, this is just if you're guilty and you need coaching, you're probably going to be on your cell phone. What you're not going to do is hop into the ambulance to get your blood checked.
do you got your phone TV up? Or somebody got their TV up?
Jennifer, is your TV on?
Do what?
Do you have your TV on? It don't sound like it.
I'm sorry. Yes. Do you need me to
Go ahead
turn
and
it to
turn
go
it off.
somewhere?
Yeah,
Yeah,
turn
you
it
gotta
off.
have
We can
complete
hear it.
silence.
Ashley, can everybody until you want to talk, can everybody just go on mute?
That's what I've been doing back and forth, was muting myself so you guys don't hear the background just in case.
That's perfect fine. So it's just that the how comfortable this officer is alarming because what else is he capable of, or what else has he done that he's gotten away with? It's some kind of you can definitely tell that this police agency knows procedures to protect themselves when they've done something wrong, for sure.
So
Yeah, he has a history of, if you look at his disciplinary report, he has a history of tampering with his body camera.
Wow.
He's actually has a history of destroying someone's property. And there was a couple of other things that I can't remember, but I think the other two things, I know he was suspended for one of the accidents, and the city of Dallas was sued because of one of his accidents because he was on duty.
Wow.
And that's one thing that as a family, we want to make sure that we pressure the government or legislation about policies when it comes to officers who are off duty. We want to make sure that they are held accountable because they take an oath. To civilians, they're police officers 24 hours a day. It comes with the job, and you need to behave accordingly, and because you took an oath.
Yeah, and what's funny about all of this is they had the nerve to give him an award for Officer of the Year.
Even after the situation, you understand that he might have got it the previous year, and it goes to the, at no point should they have given that to him after this happened. I don't care. They should have held that because they were still going to give it to him.
Well, even the previous year, because he had those wrecks.
Yeah, I mean, that's that. What the only thing that was when they gave him Officer of the Year, it was just putting a pillow or a cover over him to try to shroud him in some kind of case. Like, so he's such an outstanding citizen, an outstanding police officer. It was just to dress him up. They're dressing him up at this point. That's the reason why all the negative comments that he once had, they flooded it with so many good comments. He pushes them down to the bottom. Just think about it. Human nature. You don't have the patience to go on and scroll and read all this. So you look things up and you see 5 or 6 comments and say, "Oh, what a great cop!" It's persuasion. They just dressed them up.
Your mic going in and out.
Mine is.
Yeah.
So they try to clean him up a little bit, huh? After
Yeah,
this,
he had bad disciplinaries before this happened, and then all of a sudden, the same lieutenants who was on the scene helping with the cover up are the ones that's on the aftermath of the reports that he get, where he's getting good accommodations all of a sudden. They are the ones who's giving it to him. They giving it to him like bang, bang, bang.
so it's safe to say they got a boys club
There,
going on.
the people are telling me that they can't hear Quincy. Quincy, can you talk up a little louder?
Yeah, I will. I was definitely low, so my bad. I'm still doing these pictures, and that's why. So y'all forgive me for that. I'm almost to where I need to be. So I guess once we get to where Alvin is clearly not on, he's on the body cameras, clearly not helping. He's clearly walking around with his identity covered. He still at this time knew who Demetrius Cosby was, and he never still went to him to exchange insurance information. He still never went to him to act as if it's an accident. He still is not helping Aquazia. At this time, we watching him on his body camera. Aquazia's still in the car, and he goes over. You're gonna see at these pictures when I send them to Crumble, James. You're gonna see him leaning over, looking into the car. He's still allowed on the scene instead of being removed from the scene. You're gonna see him. You're gonna see the radio in his pocket. You're gonna see him being allowed to. Well, I don't have the one of him being allowed to go in and out of his own vehicle, but on the body cameras we did see that.
Hey, Quincy, what is the officer position? What department he work in? What is it? Homicide, narcotics. What department is that?
Okay, now see, that's being the maze, because again, remember, they never contacted us to give us any information, so we can only speculate like what we believe for it to be why they keep protecting him so much.
Because he's not a regular, let's say, patrol officer. Is it safe to say that he's a regular patrol officer?
Yeah, publicly, you can look up some public records on some of his arrests that he's made, and some of it is related to narcotics.
And he may have, well, let me leave that part out. Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's just very speculative. Like, man, it's just certain things I'm not gonna say at this point, until we get into the thick of it. Right now, this is the beginning of the thick of it. This is to point out to everybody who can help share and get it out, the fact that we are showing the facts that she is still in the car while they are searching. These are some strong facts that we are showing, that they definitely didn't even have on gloves. They definitely didn't care about her life. They definitely just, didn't care about the baby's life. They showed just, it shows that the only person that they was out here to help was Alvin Carafilla. They're one of theirs, this officer.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's hard for me to watch these pictures and remember her, know her, love her, and to have her baby reminding me every day. Aquazia wanted to be a mama. She always hugged her stomach. She was always talking to her baby. She always was making statements saying, "I can't wait for you to get here so I can be a mama." He robbed my daughter and her daughter and me and my family of being able to see her be a mom, have another child, for the baby to have a brother or a sister. He ruined those chances.
James, give us some of those pictures of Aquazia and her beautiful baby. Give us some of the get the people some of those pictures of her. Beautiful.
Can I
Beautiful.
can I add about because I know we talked about Aquasia in the beginning, but Aquasia never met a stranger. Quay knew people from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, she made everybody feel like they were her favorite. That's just how she was. She was always joking and laughing. Just a very charismatic person. And that's why if you go on her Facebook page, you'll see how many people miss her. Like every day somebody's on there saying, I miss you. What happened? I want you back. Like this is a tremendous void for a lot of people. And people are really, really hurt behind this. It's not just the family, but a lot of friends. Her friends she calls sisters. She has people that are not biological that she calls aunties. She has a couple of godmothers. I mean, she was very close to a lot of people because she was so charismatic and it was so easy to love her. So I just wanted to put that out there.
A pure angel. She was a beautiful girl too.
And as small as Quay was a fighter. So I know when she was in that car, she did everything in her power to stay alive for her baby.
That's it.
Why this is even
We have our mom. This is her mom here as well.
Yeah, this is a mom right here, Jennifer.
You have anything you want to say, Mom?
Like Vada said, she never met a stranger, and she loved everybody. Um, she had people from all over she was friends with. Everybody loved her. She was great to be around. Just miss her.
Yeah. Oh, my condolences. My heart go out to you and the family and her friends, man. It is truly heartbreaking. Truly heartbreaking.
I just wish they would hurry up and charge the cop.
Yeah. Because it's something to this. Something to this. And I'm pretty sure we all feel the same way. That baby should have got the first. He should have got
I'm kind of glad that.
me.
I wish he would have been arrested. Don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of glad it took this long. You know what? Y'all want to know why?
Why?
Somebody else could have investigated and left out everything else that we find now.
Yeah.
It is true though.
Yeah. Because they
would have probably been like, "Oh man, they're on there searching the car, and she's still in the car." We wouldn't have never got this part. We would never got the callous part.
Right.
It'd have been another smack on the wrist for him.
Right.
I just hope he's brought to justice. I mean, she's brought to justice.
Mm-hmm. We definitely need justice for the lady. We definitely need justice for Quay.
Okay.
I hope this opens up the corruption of that police force.
I'm close, y'all. I'm probably 6 pictures in, and then I'm going to send these to James. And
Quincy, can I tell them about the baby and where the baby is right now?
Yes.
So currently, Skylin got out of the NICU. She was in the NICU, obviously, January the 6th. Skylin got out of the NICU June the 19th on Juneteenth. That's when she got her freedom papers. Skylin's been in the hospital with pneumonia at least 4 times since she's been home. Skylin sees 9 different, between specialists and nurses, she sees 9 different healthcare providers, anywhere from ENT to pulmonary to GI, occupational speech, and physical therapy, neurology, because she was born HIE, so it's a where there's a birth injury. So that's what we want everybody to understand, that this baby was impacted by a birth injury due to the accident. So she had a brain stem injury. Mm-hmm.
We definitely need justice for her too. Definitely need justice for her too.
She has she's on life sustaining equipment where for breathing and eating. She actually just had a procedure on Wednesday. And to be honest with you, Children's Hospital is wonderful. There's a lot of great doctors on there, but guess what? They're scratching their head about this case because it's so unusual to have a baby with this much complications. This is what the officer has done to this baby. She suffers every single day. I think we cry every day because she is suffering every day. She can swallow, but her esophagus doesn't work properly. So that's another issue. So just imagine if you're trying to swallow, but nothing's going down and you're an adult and how you would feel. Well, she's a baby. So
Yeah,
we're
because she
having to
swallows, but
suction
it
her
don't go down.
constantly
It comes up.
every
It
day.
don't go down.
It doesn't go down.
Well, he needed to be held accountable.
Exactly. So
Need
she
to have
goes through a lot, and it's heartbreaking to see her have to fight the way that she's having to fight. But one thing we know for sure is that God did not bring her this far to leave her. That
That's
I'm
right.
going to believe.
So just asking the question, who pays the medical bills for all these all of her injuries she sustained?
Well, right now they sending me the bills.
So
But
not
I
even
mean,
the
I haven't
city
been
or
having
the
to
state or
pay
nothing.
them.
So the state, she is on state insurance, but I don't know if anybody's ever been on state insurance. If you have complicated medical history like Skyland's, like Quincy said, Quincy gets bills. And not only that, remember, if it comes, the baby's on durable medical equipment, so oxygen, feeding supplies, medication, all different types of things. She's not on the best. Skyland deserves the best. So her insurance does not give her the best equipment that she needs for life-sustaining medical conditions.
And this is
And
how they
meanwhile,
doing the baby
Quincy's
that was
being
born
billed.
disabled because of him. She's disabled because of him.
Exactly.
This is a disabled baby, and they telling us that she can't get this certain kind of equipment because of her insurance.
There should be no
So it
limit
makes her suffer
to what she can
even more.
receive. There should be no limit.
This is a true tragedy, man.
Like, why are they even considering her insurance when it's his fault? He injured the baby. He caused her to have her injuries. Because, hey, we was at every ultrasound. She was a healthy baby.
Right.
Before this happened, she was not going to be born like this. She was healthy. No injuries.
I have a question for the brother that said that he was a first responder. Okay, and because I know how it is in Illinois. They say if you run into the back of the person, you automatically guilty in Illinois because you, as a driver, you're supposed to be aware of that.
That's the Texas law too.
That is the Texas law too, right? So
exactly,
flat out, he's liable. Period.
Yep.
Period. He's liable because he ran into the back of the vehicle.
Yeah,
it's just like if you shoot somebody in the back or you hit somebody with your vehicle from the back. Same law.
Right.
Well, which is why the statement that he made, you know, it's ridiculous. He basically made a statement putting Demetrius at fault for causing the accident.
That was to get out of that insurance, but paying for that child, paying for anybody that was injured. That's what he was trying to do.
Exactly. Because children's service, I don't know what's going on with that against him. But he's maneuvering because he don't want to go to jail, and he's trying to get out of being responsible for having to pay child support and pay for these bills and go by his insurance.
Right.
And if he wanted to act like it was an accident, why come he ain't caring about the baby now? You know, you didn't care about her out there when she was in the stomach, and even up to today to now, she's struggling. And you know they being nosy. You know they were on our Facebook. You know they see.
Oh, they on her for sure.
Yeah. So why come he ain't caring about her now? You know, she has to have a better installed. What is it called? The suction thing.
The stationary.
Yeah. She can't even get that because of the insurance, so she has to get the generic one. And what it does is that suction, when it's pulling it out her chest and her mouth area, it gets stuck in her chest, and she keep getting pneumonia because the equipment is cheap. But if she can afford the stationary, just like when we're in the hospital, it pulls it all out. And they even keep saying, they were like, yeah, these work way better. We don't been back in the hospital 4 different times with her having pneumonia because of this.
Man.
So if he cared about the baby, why come he ain't around trying to, help with that?
Yeah.
Q also, I need your cash out. Some of the people had asked about your cash out. Text it to me. We're gonna post it up here. You know what I'm saying? So however the situation may be, or somebody had already put up a post of your what was it? What do you call it? It's not cash out, but
The GoFundMe.
The GoFund.
yeah, the
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. So I some might not have the access to do that. So if you want your cash out posted, send it to me. Let me know. I will post it up there on the screen where to go across, so they would know how to send or help if they want to contribute in that type of way.
Okay, I'm the name is gonna be on the Q Unity Productions.
All right, just send it to my inbox on Facebook, and I'll post it just like that.
All right, and I'm about to also. I just sent it to you just then on your text message, and I'm also about to get this last picture in and get that to you. It's just some of these on here I did want to show. It's too graphic. But that last one I will show because they need to know. When you seeing all the nice stuff, you looking at it like, oh, she's okay, or they ain't really. You don't really see what they really did. So they need to at least see one graphic picture of what they did to cover up to help him. What they did to my daughter. They need to see it. They need to know what's going on. Yeah. They don't need to always see the smiling pictures because they don't see how hurt this is and how bad this hurts. They don't see what he did. So I'm fun to let me see. I'm at the end of it now, and I'm fun to send you these.
We definitely need some criminal charges against this officer. Whether he was off duty or not, there's criminal charges there. Because the vehicle was completely stopped. You ran into the back of a stopped vehicle.
Yes. All day.
And just speaking, from a decency standpoint, I mean, regardless of, who was at fault or anything that evening, the police department, no one from the police department, not even, Cara Feely, no one has even just contacted the company just to say, we're sorry for what happened. We're sorry your family is going through this. There's been no acknowledgement whatsoever that Quay's life was taken.
That's it.
You would think that it was just it's almost like it was a fender bender and that's it. We're gonna, business as usual.
Yeah, like she's somewhere still alive, or she just got hurt, and that was it.
Yeah, but they dealing with one of their own. These ain't regular. This wasn't a regular civilian type of setting. This was one of their own with another civilian. So yeah, they protected their own, and then render help to the civilian. And
that's exactly what they done.
That sound like foul play.
That's it. I definitely believe. I definitely believe she just didn't stand a chance with them out there. They supposed to have been helping her, and I just really hate to just be looking at all these pictures I can't show. But I'm fun to send the ones that I can. I can send these.
And there's also a part 2 to all of this. It doesn't just end at the scene. We don't have to get into that right now, but just letting everybody know that there is a part 2 to how bad this really is. This is not everything.
Yeah. Oh well, it's a part 2, but it's also going to be a part 3 because it rolls into every connection of them covering up, from the street to the hospital. And it is a pattern because if you care about somebody, you're going to care about them before by slowing down, getting behind the car, making sure nobody hit them, not just you hitting them, nobody else. But then, boom, once you hit them, you show you care, and then your partners come and they show they care. None of that happened. But at the same time, at the hospital, what also happened. So today is
And we're not talking
mainly
about children's.
no, we're not talking about children. We're talking about Baylor Scott Hospital. Or we can get into that today. Right now, I'm sending you, James. I just sent you a couple of things that I want you to show, and I'm gonna send some more because those are just a few out of at least 20.
All right, I'm looking at them now. To all these, I'm just waiting on you to say, let's do it, or I'm waiting on you to send the rest of what you need. Therefore, you don't have to be cut out when
Okay,
when
so
you
I got
talk.
at least 10 more to send, and then I'll be ready.
Hey, Quincy.
Yes.
There are cameras on that particular highway, correct?
Yes.
And they can't see what happened from the cameras.
It's very obvious that they don't want the beginning to be seen. If he was innocent and they were innocent, they would have been on show that day one. If he was innocent, they would have been on done a sobriety from day one to clear this officer of the first news article that came out that said DUI officer. If he was innocent and didn't do these things that are speculated or allegedly, that's so funny. If he was innocent, they would have been done these things. I sent James a video of the DOT department, their actual video where they're admitting on the YouTube, where they're saying that yes, they record, but they're only restricted to give that information to the FBI and the Dallas Police Department. And the Dallas Police Department is the people we're talking about. So of course they will not share the truth. I mean, if they wanted to contest what we're saying, why don't they show it?
Yeah, that's right. Make sure everybody in the chat, if y'all do, tag the hell out of the Dallas Police Department. Tag them. Everybody tag them. Fill them.
Because I believe that highway camera gonna show that man going over the speed limit, and it's probably gonna show him veering to the right, what a stalled car was, a completely stopped car.
Exactly. I definitely agree.
The charges should be homicide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you let her die, you could have helped her, but you let her die. That's murder.
And callousness on the department that was there.
Obstruction of justice and callousness of murder.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I believe that's why you can't get all the things that you need to prove this.
Yep.
That's exactly why they can't get it. They're not going to try to provide it.
Because they feel like they're going to, the way they know they're going to be incriminating themselves. I should be that's the last picture right there. So you got everything. And that last picture, it is important. It is graphic. Just let everybody know that they can have the right to view it on their own will. But people need to know what it is that he done and what they was obviously they agreed to by helping him. He wasn't the worst one out there hurt. He wasn't the one who really needed their help. He was out there walking around healthy, texting, chewing bubble gum, very delicious bubble gum. you know, not them giving him an aspirin if he has chest pains. Tell them about what that means, sis, if you get an aspirin chest pain.
Well, it's like it's a preventative to help you to make sure you don't have a heart attack. So,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, so give me 1 second, and then I'm gonna add those pictures in, or we can live view them, and y'all can talk us through them from there. 1 second. Y'all can go ahead and keep, what I'm saying, talking to what we're gonna do, but just give me 1 second.
Hey, Q. Hey, Quincy, can you hear me? Quincy, can you hear me? Oh, he stepped away. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah,
I
we
can
can.
hear you.
Yes.
Oh, all right. You got Q stepped out? He's sending more pictures of James?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I'll wait for him to get into the room.
He's coming back.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
Hey, Auntie, that's
Yes.
the auntie, right?
Yes, I'm her aunt. Quincy's my
Okay.
little brother.
Okay, I want to ask you. So they did talk to the driver, and how long did they talk to the driver while your niece was still in the vehicle? Let's try to piece that timeline together with what the body cam was showing from the time that they was talking to him, because
I can
that was a crucial
actually,
time right there.
yeah, so while I don't have the time frame, I can tell you what I saw based on the body cams.
Mm-hmm.
It appears as though they kept a couple of different people kept trying to talk to Michi Cosby, and they were taking him away from the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So the scene was probably 50 yards up from, and I don't know if this was a sheriff's vehicle or if it was a Dallas police vehicle, but they actually put him in the an SUV, and they were asking him questions. So it was just strange to me that they were taking him away from the scene and asking him questions, but and these questions, his answers are not recorded anywhere as a statement, by the way. But the officer who caused the callous act was seen walking around the vehicles, his vehicle, going in his own vehicle, standing by his vehicle, looking at Quay's body while she's in the vehicle. When they took Quay out, looking at the Judson Graham do CPR, chest compressions. But meanwhile, Michi, my nephew, is being taken away from the scene, and he's being questioned. And he's been questioned a lot by different people, it appears. And mind you, he had the concussion. He's terribly upset because he's witnessing both his brother and his sister unresponsive.
And they not even giving him any type of.
That they're not giving him any kind of aid or just saying, hey, you need to like sit down, you need to get yourself together. But it's kind of like they were trying to figure out some things and then looking at his cards for, a gun and other things. So while I don't have the time on that, I can tell you they tried to keep him around, and they tried to keep him away from the scene. And it's almost as though they kept him away from the officer. When you look back at it, when you look back at the videos, because at that time, remember, no one knows who the person is that caused this. No one knows.
Right.
So it just comes off across as though they tried to take him away from that scene. So maybe so that he couldn't see the officer. I'm not quite sure. That's how it appeared to me.
And let's just keep it. Let's just go on and keep it real. This was a black and white situation, because this is young black. What I'm saying, kids, children. This is young black people. This is a white man.
Yep.
And you could tell from the treatment, this was what it was. This was some privilege on top of the police privilege as well.
100%.
It was definitely It's
what it
definitely
is.
a blue. It's definitely a blue situation. A
Mhm.
blue, all the blues, all the Dallas Police Department showed up. They all showed up. You can see them in traffic trying to get from body cams, trying to get through all the traffic that built up later on. So you can definitely see that they were there for him, and it was
I mean, that's true,
everybody.
but the people that was out there
Is you
involved
ready?
and on that highway, it's just strange. Who wants to bring up color? But when you're forced to speculate, you still have to show people the things that you don't want to do. So I mean, I don't want it to be well, if we prove it ain't racist, then we in the clear. No, that ain't what we're trying to say.
Yeah, it's
But
just the
it just
problem
still
with
don't
that
look
though is
right.
the powers that be, the DA is and the sheriffs, the people that can actually shed some light onto this and make sure that an investigation is open on it are people of color. So that's
Right.
something we need to keep in mind. But yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It could be,
Right.
it could be
But
a
see, that's the
situation
whole
where they
thing.
see a black
See,
girl in the
in
back of a car
Yeah.
in society,
and
we've
she doesn't
always
get
seen
paid.
people
Yeah.
Yeah.
of
Right.
color not help they own. I mean, some people of color
Yeah.
help their own. But then you see sometimes when you look at the first thing on the scene, who was out there? Who was out there?
Mhm.
Who are
Right.
they helping?
On the
It-
scene. I'm referring to
Yeah,
the
who are they helping?
Yeah.
You
But
know,
yeah.
I see a black teenager who was pregnant in the vehicle. I see the white men out there covering up the scene, and I see black people above them helping them. Now, I'm not saying it's racist or not, but I'm telling you how it looks. I mean, people can get their answer from that. I'm gonna call it how it is. What makes this situation any different? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that they knew a black person was in the car, this, and that. Nah, but when they got out there, they knew who she was. And all I'm saying is, if it was any other race, if it was, I believe it'd have been treated better. I'm just saying, but that's my speculation. You know what I'm saying? I know they didn't treat my daughter better, and I know she's a black teenager. I'm just simply saying, I mean, reason why I feel like I can say that is because I got word when I come down from Texas. I'm a grieving father. And I got word when I come down to Texas and I went to the hospital from people who worked at that hospital. They told me from their own mouth that man was in there screaming from the top of his lungs and that they can tell that he was intoxicated. That's their words. They told me that them people was, while my daughter was laying on that table dead, that the baby was still in the stomach, and they were on our Facebook. And they're talking about us, talking about I got dreads and I must be a thug. They were talking about my daughter, even if she was a stripper. Strippers need respect too. I mean, I don't have anything against no strippers, but they was talking about my daughter on her Facebook, talking about she must be a stripper. They was not taking my granddaughter out the womb. And the people in the NICU was pissed because they was waiting on the baby, but they was too busy down there talking about us.
Yeah, I do
So
think that there's a social aspect to this. I think it's a class aspect to this because when the officer who did the CPR, when he got to the hospital, he found he received news that she didn't have much family support. And so if you got to add it up. Okay, he's one of ours. He's important to he add value to our Dallas police network. And we have someone who we think doesn't have family support. And we think, that does not have value to society because this is what they're thinking. It could be more of a social aspect. And this is in the Black community too, because we have classism within our own race. And so if they are using words like, well, she must be a stripper or this or that, because they're looking down on someone.
they
And this
created a
is where things,
narrative. They
yeah,
want
and
people
it's
to look
creating
at
a
us like we
narrative
don't
that she
matter.
was a nobody. But what they found out is
Exactly.
that that's not that should never be the case for anyone, regardless of, whether your economic status. No one should ever, not save your life because you're a poor person or an African American. It regardless of your status, no one should do that to you. However, in this case, I do believe that there is some social economic factors to this situation.
Well,
because they have refused. A lot of people have refused to help me, and I feel like they're looking at me and judging me by how I look. You know, in America, it's like people teach that, you know, black people can withstand the most pain, and you know, you look at somebody like me. It's always been easy to make somebody like me look like a defendant. You know, it's always been easy to make somebody like my son look like a defendant. Like to see them put his name on them papers as suspect and try to blame him. This is just ridiculous. You know, I don't lost one child and he don't lost his sister, and you have the audacity to blame him for something you did. He didn't drive the car. He didn't do it. It just doesn't make sense to me to be going through all of this trying to get help for the person that's injured still, and they still protected somebody who wasn't even injured that night, who was released from the hospital within minutes. It just don't make sense.
That's true. So, Quincy, would you like me to start sharing the pictures and you all walk us through them?
Yes. Please give the public what they need to see so they can see the what we're saying is not just speculation on our end. We also have proof from the actual body cams. Now, these pictures right here of the baby, they're not from the body cam, so we ain't got into that yet. That's Skylar. That's from the body cam. That is the crash screen. The vehicle that Demetrius, Katerius, and Aquazia and the baby in the stomach was in is to the left, the white vehicle. That's Alvin Carol Filler's vehicle to the right, upside down, and their vehicle's to the left.
Can we talk about that photo though?
Oh, go ahead.
So this is a photo, as you can see, it's kind of the Jeep is pinned into the Malibu. That's the Quincy's son's car is the Malibu, and the officer's car is the Jeep. It's pinned in there. So that tells you right there, the way it's pinned, that car had to been sitting still in order for it to pin like that. Because had it been moving, it would have hit it, and the car would have went further up the road, and it wouldn't have been pinned into the car if it was.
And if he would have turned in front of him from the side, it would have been hit from the side, not the back.
Exactly. Yep. So just kind of wanted to point that out.
She want me to put it back on Grace's corner. It was on commercial. Okay. Now.
Yeah, there's also evidence of no attempt to stop.
And that's the picture of Alvin in the Adidas jacket walking to go and look into the car that Aquazia is still in before they start searching. He's out there, showed back up on the scene so he could be seen on the body cam, and being allowed to be back on the scene. It's just it's you know, it's unacceptable.
And that's at 2:28 a.m.
That's Aquazia's hand. That's Aquazia's hand in the front seat, right where her brother was sitting at. He said in his words that she was holding on to him, saying "Bubba," the last thing that she did, and her left hand was hovering over the baby. She was buckled in, and she still had her feet up, trying to hover over the baby. So she died saving her baby and holding her brother's arm.
That's a rough one.
My thing is how was the cop allowed on the scene period if he was just involved in the scene? I mean, in the scene period, how was he able to be on the scene and able to walk around freely? And like
that's what we just covered. That you're right. Yeah, you definitely right. And okay, so that's Alvin right there. That's the man who took your daughter's life, Jennifer. That's Alvin Carol Filler right there looking at Quay. He's looking in the car at her. That's him. That's Alvin Carroll Filler.
Doing nothing. Him being still on the scene and around like
no
that
gloves
is beyond me.
Yeah, like how is he hurt? He's doing all that.
And at this time, we have to think about the witnesses and people that are around. They don't know who he is. He's just blending in right now.
Exactly. And Michi never knew who he was until we seen the body cam.
So at this point, it's 2:29.
That's the next picture, but it's similar to the first one.
I just was trying to keep the time together. That right there is on the other side of the vehicle. That's Kateris Cosby on the other side of the vehicle. The vehicle that Aquazia and Kateris is in is more to the right, and that vehicle to the left is upside down. That's that hand right there is Kateris Cosby hand. And that vehicle to the left that's upside down, that's the officer's vehicle.
Okay, that's the truck when it's turned on its side, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's from the officer's passenger side, I believe. Well, it's upside down. And then to the right of that is their vehicle. And if the door wasn't there, you would be able to see the MT doing CPR on Kateris Cosby.
Okay, so he basically had passed, and
he was unresponsive the same way Aquazia was unresponsive. And if he was able to be revived, there was a chance to revive her.
And where was his location before the crime was committed? Where was his location before they was hit?
Kateris Cosby was the front seat passenger.
And your daughter was in the back seat.
And my daughter was in the back seat.
Behind the driver.
That right there, if you keep going, you're going to be able to see through there. That's the MT doing CPR. I can't really see. Okay, there you go. He's doing CPR. He has the gold shirt on.
Right here.
And if you go again to the next one, you're going to be able to see his face a little bit more. Yep, he had his head down doing CPR. Aquazia's in the back still.
And that's 2:30. Was that 2:30? Well, he started at 2:29.
And Aquazia's still in the back. And on the body camera, he's screaming to them, "Y'all please help me." But that's them searching from the other side. They still searching the car. And he's saying, "Well, y'all please help me." What? And the other two people, the witnesses, they're saying, "Why ain't y'all helping her?" Because he was already helping Kateris. They kept saying, "Why ain't y'all helping her?" He said, "Y'all help me get her out and help her."
And you can see
trying to tell him to leave and move.
And you can see Quay's hair. Her hair is red and gold. It's like right in. Yeah, that's her right there. Yep.
Yep. She's still in the car.
It's alarming that he's performing CPR and no one you could see, there's no attempt to save her at all.
None.
And it's clearly a body camera, so you know they're there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's looking right at her. Actually, he's looking right at her.
Not even moving.
What is there any audio to the body cams?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unbelievable volume.
You can
so
see.
That's you see right there. They're searching for the other side. They're looking at her from the other side. That's her right there.
And then please note the gold watch hand with the gold watch.
Yeah, note the gold watch.
Identify who that is. Yep.
That's the sergeant. Y'all gonna find out that's the sergeant. Okay.
This is supposed to be Justin Graham coming down the road, but
okay. So is this the side of the highway that they was hit on, or was it this side, the right side over here?
Well, remember when you're looking at a camera, everything is opposite sides, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Okay.
When I went out there, I walked. I parked somewhere and I walked, and it looks totally different when you're there.
But see, I worked down in Dallas for a while, and this kind of looks recognizable. But even with this road being like this, how do you not have time? This flat surface, how do you not have time to see this car?
Yes, right now you can see the lights right now, way up there. Yes, you definitely right, brother. Okay, now that is the witnesses standing out there.
And
Notice the time.
meanwhile, it's
So these are
2:30 and
witnesses
Trey
that
is still
was.
in the car.
These are witnesses that was
that's one of the witnesses with Demetrius Cosby. They trying to calm him down, and if you go to the next picture, you're gonna see her a little bit clearer of him out there. He was pissed.
Okay, let's go. Let me see.
Okay, you have to go back.
Back to.
Notice the time. You have to go back.
Let me see if I can get back to where it was.
So Quincy,
It's gonna be the next one.
They searched the officer vehicle as well. What did they find in his?
No, I'm gonna tell you about that after this.
Okay.
Because no,
That's
they didn't
totally
search his vehicle. I'm gonna tell you what they did. They did something totally different. But that's Demetrius right there, and the woman is holding him back because he kept trying to get in the car to get to his sister.
Oh, let me before we go to this.
You look at that picture right there.
Hey, hold on. Huh? So who is this lady right here?
She's one of the witnesses, I believe.
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna
never on the
just
paperwork,
not.
right?
We're not gonna talk about her.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the witnesses out of it right now. You see that hand on the other side? That is Aquazia's hand. That is them searching. The start of them searching the car on that side of the vehicle. So if you click it, you're gonna see.
And what time frame is that one?
Okay, go. Yeah, look at that time frame.
2:30.
2:30.
2:30.
And 11 seconds.
So the MT was still working on the other passenger.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they searching the vehicle.
They searching the vehicle.
Look at that one. And you would think he's going to get ready to take out, but keep going. You're going to see. She's still in there. Okay. Look in the back of the car. She got a gun in her hand, right? One of the officers on duty officer. Now look where Aquazia is. If you zoom in, she's still in there.
And that time frame that is at what? 2:31?
2:30 and some seconds.
Yep.
They're pulling stuff out so quickly. The time scale is so small that there's no way she shouldn't have been touched or rendered aid in between this time span.
They shouldn't have done because the reason why we're showing it in seconds is because every second matters.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that was the case with Cortavius. He was able to save Cortavius. He was unresponsive.
And at this point, there's enough officers on the scene for them to render aid and continue to do the extra foolishness that they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But while they're doing this right now, she's in there transitioning. Okay, go to the next picture.
No gloves either, viewers. I want y'all to see
no gloves. She's still in the car. Look at the time frame. Now look at him. He's getting something out that's got blood on it. Look at the time frame. And then he gets something out. You see the blood right there. She's still in the car. Time frame. Then he get another gun out. Look at her hand. She's still in there.
And what's crazy is all this is taking place within 1 minute.
Right. Yes. But the time is crucial. The time is very crucial at this point.
Yep.
And it's also crucial for them because they're trying to find some real quick.
Yep. Note to the viewers: these guns were legal. He was able to get them back.
And I was there. He got them back. They cleared them. He never was arrested for anything that night nor later.
And those weapons was in the trunk. Those firearms was in the trunk.
They were safe and secure in the trunk. She's still in the car. That's her.
This is 231-51, still in the car, still yet to get help while they still searching. Does it look like her body is moved? Like somebody might have moved her a little bit?
Definitely.
They did.
You keep going, you're gonna see. Definitely. They definitely moved her.
Because remember, she had a hand up in the front of the seat.
Yeah. It's a totally different body placement.
So they're moving her body around, getting stuff.
Right, but no one checked her pulse or render help at all.
And that's disgusting.
And she's not pinned in there.
She's not peeing thin at all.
At this point, right here, I wonder if she has transitioned at that point.
Yep, I believe
point,
so.
probably.
Blood was coming out her ear.
Yeah, because of the way they treating her body is if at that point they really don't care.
Right.
Yep. Oh, they slid her out that car with one hand and she just plummeted on the ground. Man, it was terrible.
Because you would think if you were trying to help somebody at that point, she would be turned up to where she can get air. To where even if you don't see a pulse, why would you keep her up to where she can get air until you get her out the car to whatever? I've seen people perform CPR while the person was in the car.
In the car. Yep.
And mind you, the baby in the stomach, and Demetrius kept telling them she's pregnant. She's pregnant.
I'm sorry,
Vada.
If you look at the time, she's still in the car, though. Like if you look at the time, she's still in the car.
What was the time frame that they pulled her out the car and try to give her CPR? What was that time?
Oh, it's coming up.
It's coming up.
So when you look at this picture right here, they turned her again. They moved her again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because her head seems to be up now.
My question is why was she not one of the first ones that they render aid to besides the passenger?
That's
what we're talking about. Yeah, you're right. That's a good question, but that's what we're proving.
Yeah, because she's
that they searched the car instead of doing that.
And you got to understand too, they didn't render aid to anybody.
Right.
That was, the gentleman who assisted the passenger.
And they tried to make him leave.
He was the first person he came to. But a lot of valuable time was wasted.
Look, it's on. It's back on. Sorry.
A lot of valuable time was wasted to provide CPR. CPR should have continued to be rendered until paramedics showed up.
Yep.
To all parties.
Trained to do
with
that.
A baby in there.
Oh, Quincy, you didn't show the one where he's doing the CPR.
Oh, it's. I sent it to him. He probably he got to go back in his inbox.
Oh, okay.
So this is her right here. Yeah, still in position. Okay.
Remember, I said it's gonna be graphic.
Witnesses. The witnesses waited out there to 6:30. Some of the witnesses, most of them waited until 6:30 in the morning to be talked to provide their statements, and they did not get to.
And that's why they kept Michi in the car to keep him separated from them.
What exactly is he looking at? What the cop is looking at when he's doing this? Like right
he's
there,
still searching, exactly. And that's where she is. Yep.
So this is Judson Graham.
Him?
That's Judson Graham. So now he gonna pull her out with one hand very easily, so she wasn't stuck.
And
was this the lady that said she at least attempted, but she was stuck supposedly?
Yeah, she didn't say. She said I didn't try because she was stuck lodged in between the seats. But you see, she didn't do it because really she was out there searching.
It ain't even on the body cam that shows her doing anything.
Yep.
Yeah, because they didn't give us the body cams of the two officers that were there before Judson got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they definitely refused. Evidently, they refused to give them or want to act like they forgot or whatever, but we didn't get them.
Y'all still don't have them?
So right here, she's pulled out, right?
Didn't have anything on it. So it could have been one of theirs. And when
this is where she's pulled out. This one is important because this is Judson Graham doing
CPR.
Chest compressions. Aubin is sitting there talking to the lady with his hands in his pocket.
Aubin in an Adidas jacket.
Right.
The fact that they're not even around her to even help. He's still allowed on the crime scene after committing the crime. Clearly look at the way he's standing. He's standing as a person that's trying to keep himself together. So you can definitely tell he's probably inebriated for sure.
Mm-hmm. What's the time frame on that one? On the compression?
It is 2:32.
2:30.
That's when they pronounced her dead. Said she was gone.
Mm-hmm. So you could say almost 5 to 10 minutes that went by. You could say
She had tears on her face,
And
blood and tears.
Judson was the only one that had gloves on.
He was, and that just shows he was. Besides the black EMT, he's the only one that it attempted to so-called. Is that the dude with the watch? No, that's a tattoo.
And the dude with the watch was the sergeant. And that's the next story with the racy wine bottle.
Let me see. I want to play this video real quick so they can see this.
These 911 data. 911 data
biggest challenges
is considered a rather
wanna hide
sensitive
it.
subject for many law enforcement agencies. It's governed by the FBI and the Texas Department of Public Safety. There's information that shouldn't go out.
That shouldn't go out.
And so we have to work with them and to explain what we're doing and why we're doing it. And the biggest challenge is getting agencies, working with agencies.
All right,
Y'all heard this.
I stopped that share real quick because I don't want public to see you and I text messages because just in case there's some sensitive information in there, y'all need to keep private.
Yes.
And then I will reopen it again so they can see. All this is very tragic.
And mind you, this is only a half of it. There's other obstruction, and it's kind of if you can show the picture that I sent you of the racy wine bottle beside the other picture.
You talking about
with 2 and 1.
All right, so
and you can see the water bottle in that picture, more clear. Before.
All right, so look, so let's show this. Like you talking about this one and this one.
Yeah. Now, when you look at that, that's got yellow. That's 2 different objects. But you see the water bottle is made to like it's a ghost bottle. That's an edit. But they put racy at the top of it. That's an edit. They want to make it seem like that's what it was in the car, like it was a piece of paper with yellow below it. No, they edited that. Go to the picture where it turns into a white screen, where some kind of redactor or whatever they use to edit it.
If I can find that one. Stop sharing while I find that one. I think you might have sent that to my cell phone.
She don't like nobody talking when her little show on. Gracie's Corner.
I'm gonna put this up too. I have so many messages. It's hard for me to find it.
Okay, I'm gonna jump off and resend it to you.
All right.
Got you.
All right, so y'all can go ahead and like I said, go ahead and carry on with the story so people can still see what's going on, understand what we're going on from that standpoint. From where me, it's just
charges brought up against this man, officer, the DA.
Yeah, I don't see how they're able to get away with this one. Like everything points out to a crime, him not helping, him leaving the bar. That's what's even crazy. His second job was a bar. You're driving and you rear end someone, taking life, and you're not giving your blood alcohol levels not checked.
No field sobriety. No field sobriety.
That should have been instantly.
Mind blowing.
And I just sent it to you, James.
Got it. All right. Share it right now. There you go. So you can explain this to us, Quincy. He might have cut out because he sent this.
I'm going to take the baby from him so that he'll be on.
Okay, now people would have to zoom in to see, but this is the same picture. The one on the left, you can still see the racy wine bottle there by the edge of the door, and you can see the water bottle is clear. But in the other picture, you can see the edit where it's a white screen and a red ribbon at the top, and the water bottle right there. And then that white screen turns into the other identity. And on the body camera, this is when he reached down and picks up the actual racy wine bottle because he's thinking in his mind that it's going to make it look like he's picking up some paper. But it caught that first image before he could get away with it. And that was the sergeant.
So
I'm
they
not going to say his name, but that was the sergeant.
They altered that?
Yep.
Yeah, what they're
You
doing
see it right
is
there.
what they're doing is
Hey, it speaks for itself. That's from the body camera. That's what it was at first on the left. And show him what, after that white screen right there, show them what it turned to. The one with the yellow at the bottom.
and what they're doing is they're flashing. They have a light flashing.
And notice that racy wine bottle is a beige color, not white, not a white piece of paper. And right below the word racy, it's red and gray on that one. But show them the picture that he changed it to. He edited it to. That right there says racy, but there's yellow below the word racy. And that's a white piece of paper. Two totally different objects. And you look at the water bottle, it's like a ghost. That's an edit all day. He went to the scene on purpose. Whoever that sergeant was, he went there prepared and on purpose to change the evidence.
Because he got the car.
And that's the officer's vehicle. So no, they didn't search his vehicle. They helped his vehicle. You see what I'm saying now? They searched Demetrius Cosby's vehicle. But when it came to the officer, the perpetrator, the one who killed my daughter, the evidence was right there in their face, and they tried and they edited it out. Ain't no telling where that is, that racy wine bottle, but it was clearly there. So that's obstruction of justice all day too. All day. Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to go into the next thing, but I'm going to tell you guys this. Okay. Now, as you can see, there was corruptness going on. Now, from the hospital scene, you can see the picture on there where they're putting Aquazia in the ambulance. When the Dallas police finally released Aquazia's body to the fire rescue, they've been waiting while they were searching and then pretending to do CPR like as if they didn't know she was dead. She was already dead. They could have went on and let the ambulance put oxygen on the body. CPR on the body. Come on. No, they were supposed to put oxygen on the body. Why are you going to pretend to do CPR on a dead body? So, okay, so they take Aquazia by fire rescue. There's 3 ambulances. They take Demetrius Cosby by fire rescue ambulance. The officer, Alvin Carafillo, refused to get in the 3rd ambulance. He was taken to the hospital by DPD. I sent you that picture. Do you still have it?
Which one?
Where it says it's on the crash report and Alvin Carafilla is number 1.
Got the crash report. Let me bring up the crash report.
And you might have to zoom in, or you want me to send you that one little piece that got that on there?
Probably send me that one little piece.
Okay, I'm gonna send you that.
Because it's gonna be distorted either way I try to put it, but I can try to. It's gonna be distorted either which way I put it because it's gonna take so many pixels to get it up.
Yeah, and it's the second page of the crash report.
Okay, I just sent. Wait a minute, I almost deleted it. Dang. Oh, okay. Now, I just sent it to him.
Okay.
And you can put that up there. I'm not on the screen. Let me see how I get back on here. Is it up there on the screen?
Yep.
For some reason, I can't see myself on this main TV. I think that's on my end. Okay. Let me log back on my. Okay. Now, if you zoom in on that at the top, Alvin Carafilla is number 1. It says, if you go to the right of that, it says Baltimore Hospital taken by DPD, his team, the one he radioed. Number 2 is Kateris Cosby. He was taken by fire rescue. Number 3 is Aquazia. They put the date out there by Clyde Hurst because that's the day she deceased. But ain't that interesting? He didn't want to get in the ambulance. They took him to the hospital.
Yep.
Now, once they got to this hospital, I mean, it has to be said, that Graham guy, Judson Graham, he was all over the place. And he misused Demetrius Cosby's wife information. He was not supposed to be talking to her. And you can hear him on the body camera tell her, we listening. He said, now, the sheriff is going to be coming here to question you. And you're going to he went into trying to tell her what to say, create a narrative. He wasn't supposed to be talking up, period. So when he asked her, did she have any family? Where's her family at? She was telling him what she was meaning was Quay only been here 1 week. So she wasn't here long enough to know enough family for somebody else to come to deal with her. So that's what she was saying. So he smirked into the camera like that meant, yeah, nobody there that's gonna care about her. Nobody nowhere else that's gonna care about her. But Quay got plenty of family here. We are from Texas. We have plenty of family here, and they're all involved now, and they're all upset. And also along with that, like I told you, once a Quay body got there and the body cameras are being shown, they show Judson Graham again, the same person going in with the body. They also show him going into the left into the interrogation room where Alvin Carafilla was. And then they show 248 on the camera in the hospital room, and they taking Coy's body in there, and the baby's still in the stomach. And guess who right beside the bed? Judson Graham. Yes, Judson Graham. And he's all over the place. And it's crazy because it's like, how are you in so many places, creating so many narratives? So word is that came to me when I came down, that picture right there, she was in there dead. There's no time on her toe tag, first of all. No time of death. The baby was allegedly at that time, there was no footprints. No footprints for like 6 months. Then all of a sudden, it's almost like as if they was amending her birth certificate. Then all of a sudden, when I finally got it, they said it's ready. They said, oh, she was born at 250 and the equation was pronounced dead at 252. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because that same night before I got to Texas, I was in Tennessee. I was supposed to receive a visit from the local police department telling me that, hey, your daughter's been in a serious crash where somebody else crashed into her and it was a police and she didn't make it. She was pronounced dead at 252. That's not what happened. I got a call at 4 a.m. Long time from 252 from Baylor Scott Hospital social worker. And when I got on the phone, they said, "Are you next of kin? Are you Aquazia Kennedy's father?" I said, "Yes." I said, "What's going on?" They said, "She's been in a bad collision," as if it was both vehicles was moving. No, somebody crashed into her, but they didn't say that. And they was like, "Do she have a living will?" Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
They said, "Do she have a living will?" Now I said, "Yeah, she have a living will." I said, "What's going on?" They said, "We were just trying to see because we have to have permission to resuscitate her." So I said, "Yeah, do whatever y'all can do to save my daughter, man." So they's like, "We're gonna do whatever we can do to save your daughter." By the time we got the phone, it's 4:08. Now y'all know they only do about 10 minutes of resuscitation. So they called me back at 4:18 a.m. Well, your daughter just died. She's dead. Do you think it's important enough, since the mother is dead, for us to save the baby? I said, "Yeah, save my granddaughter." See, that was the purpose of them calling me at 4 a.m.
The
Because
first
if you
time.
think about it, if she was pronounced dead at 2:52, they called me an hour and 6 or 8 minutes later, pretending that my daughter was still alive, and that she died at 4:18. They needed an excuse of why they had left the baby in the womb.
Yeah, and with no oxygen, because the baby
With
is no
no
longer
oxygen.
receiving oxygen.
Right. So I thought it was their fault as well too, Quincy.
Exactly.
With that said,
Exactly. And those
with the conditions of the baby.
And mind you, now there was nurses there pissed in the NICU, and they like, "That is not the correct time that your granddaughter was incubated." They aligned, and we all are mad. Well, not everybody, because over 5 or 6 of those nurses was married to Dallas police officers, and they was down there laughing at my daughter on that table while she was laying there dead, talking about she must be a stripper. Now, I heard that from one person, and he'll be able to elaborate on that later because he was there. And then about 30 days later, I heard that from the NICU nurses, that the same thing was said, that my daughter was laying there dead. They was on her Facebook talking about her, saying she must be a stripper, and looking at my Facebook talking about my dreads, saying I must be a thug, instead of removing the baby. Now, with that, we have a meeting later with the doctor, one of the doctors. And beside him is this woman who worked at the hospital with a piece of paper writing down the times and stuff. The doctor didn't even know the time of death and stuff. He had to keep looking at her, and she pointed the paper. He said, "Yeah, I pronounced the dead at 2:52. So
tell them everybody that was in the meeting, because that's important.
Okay, my sister's there. Sis, you tell them everybody else who was there.
So it was me, it was cousin Erica, it was cousin Nicole, it was the director of nursing. There was the doctor who was in the emergency room when Quay came out. The one who
one of them.
One of them.
All the rest of them did not come.
And then there was a NICU doctor who was there, and then there was one other doctor who was responsible for incubation. She wasn't there, but
and cousin Angela was on the phone.
And cousin Angela was on the phone. Yep.
And at this meeting, I said, "So where was the main blow at? Where did the baby receive the main blow?" Because this meeting is also about the baby and Aquazia. And they tried to tell me that the baby received the main blow up by the head. And, trying to act like that's why the baby had brain damage. And I said, "How is that?" When they told me when I first came here that the baby took the main blow from the bottom, and that's how her legs got broke. You can't do both unless you got hit twice. So that the woman with the blown black hair, she come in and she's like, "No, that's not what happened." She said the baby did take the blow from the bottom of the body where her legs got broke. The reason why she has brain damage is because the placenta it ruptured, meaning she was left in the womb too long without oxygen. And they tried to cover that up. That's why they called me at 4 a.m. pretending that my daughter was still alive. Catch 22. So since I was there at that hospital asking too many questions, they got kind of frustrated with me. So they set up this another meeting. At this meeting, it was set up with the patient relation woman. I ain't even gonna say her name, but she set the meeting up. And she set the meeting up exactly for me to ask questions about my daughter and my granddaughter. Why else would I want a meeting? To talk about tacos? Just think about it. So I got the paperwork from the woman, and she don't even realize that. I got the paperwork that set up the meeting and what it explains exactly what the meeting was supposed to be about. This woman set the meeting up with the wrong doctor on purpose. Reason why? So when I go to asking questions to the wrong doctor, she's able to say, I'm out of line and hollering at me. And the doctor and me and him get into a little confrontation, not fighting, nothing but verbal confrontation. Because he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, man, you do know what I'm talking about, because I'm trying to keep my voice low, because I realize I'm a black man. I'm keeping my voice down. And I'm saying, you don't know what I'm talking about, because you are the one who operated on my daughter. And he said, no, I'm not. He told me he was a totally different doctor, and he got to arguing with the woman beside him, the patient relation woman. And he said, why would you call me to this meeting if this is what they want? And that's when I caught on. She purposely set the meeting up with the wrong doctor so I can get into it with him to make me like an angry black man. So she got loud with me and said, you are in the wrong. And I never got loud with her. My sister looked at her and said, what you say when you looked at her, sis?
I said, she has to go.
So I said, ma'am, my sister said, you need to tell her to leave. I said, ma'am, you need to leave, because I was in charge of the meeting. So she stops by the door as she gets up and leaves, and she hollers at me one more time. You don't have to holler. So she exits out of the room and go call the police. So here it is, me and the man, we realized that we almost got into an argument, because we didn't argue, we just had a, misunderstanding. We almost get into this argument over something she set up. She set that up on purpose. So I get up and I go outside, and cousin Nicole go out there with me, because she could tell I was kind of angry. So as we sitting outside the door, the police come. Mind you, this is not Dallas city police. This is the Baylor Scott White Hospital police. So they come, and they had their hands on their holsters, and they looking angry. And the reason why is because, okay, we go back in the meeting, and they come back in, they come in with us, and they're like, is everybody all right in here? And they're like, everybody in the meeting, our side and the other side. Everybody was like, yeah, everything's fine. Everybody's okay. So they wait a little while, and then they leave. Okay, that meeting ended up getting over with. We have another meeting that happens. What, the next day or 2 days later, sis?
Yeah.
Okay, so at this next meeting, we noticed that the police joins the meeting and the lieutenant. Now, the meeting goes fine. We get a little bit more information, but a little bit more confused. Now, after this meeting, the lieutenant walks downstairs with me and my cousin Angela down on the elevator. And he said, man, I feel so bad. He said, everything that you said in there about them covering up and calling you like that was wrong. He said, everything you said was true. And he said, I'm gonna tell you something else. He said, man, them people told us at that meeting yesterday. He said, that's why we came to this meeting. He said, because they told us that meeting yesterday that you held them against their will and barred them in the room, and they was in fear for their life. And he said, man, we could have killed you. He said, that's how they get black men killed in America today. He said, we know they was lying. He said, but at that time, they didn't know. And that's why they came there on high alert. Now, had I been in that room by myself, they probably would have killed me.
They'd have killed you. Yep.
So they tried to get me killed. Baylor Scott Hospital. They was mad because I was asking them questions about what went on with my daughter. So they kept trying to set me up constantly. So they eventually barred me from the hospital after I had a meeting with the chief executive. He came to the meeting too, and he's trying to hold my hand. He's talking about, yeah, he know that they're in the wrong. And he's talking about, how the woman mistreated my granddaughter also, because she neglected my granddaughter. This is where my granddaughter had to be put on extreme high level of oxygen. Instead of firing her, they defended her and moved her to another part. And he's talking about how he's going to deal with it, but he's a black man. And, I'm a black man, so I got to do it a certain way, but just give me time. And I promise you, I'm going to deal with them because they wrong. Okay. Then he goes into talking about what kind of truck you like. You like SUV? What color? We gonna get you a house and all of that. I'm like, all right. And my sister like, he's shysty. So the next day, they barred me from the hospital.
Wow.
So, but with all that said, they banned you from the hospital. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
They were just trying to put a pacifier on you.
Yep. And they told all the nurses who told me that information They threatened him and they said, if we find out who the mole is, you're gonna be getting fired.
The mole.
Why would you get mad at them for telling me the truth if it's not a lie? If you care about the patient and the baby, if you care about her, why are you going around telling people if we find out who the mole is, you're getting fired? So if they scared to talk, if those nurses are scared to talk, they got a major lawsuit, first of all. So they shouldn't be scared to talk. Let them fire you.
Yeah,
we got your
They
back.
shouldn't be held like that. They know that a lot of people got careers. They got to take care of their family, so they push them like that. But the good thing about what you all are doing is you're gonna bring awareness to the whole situation, and then whenever you hit the courts, because you're gonna hit the courts, and whenever you win, it will give people some kind of security that now retaliation can't be done. Because just think at a lot of jobs they can do that to them, and those people still have to take care of their families. But once you all set the snowball in motion, and they get subpoenaed to court, then they can tell their truth without retaliation.
Yeah, so our statement here is all about, allegedly, we have body cam footage to show things that we're talking about. It gives us the right to be allegedly speaking on these things, and allegedly the things that happened at the hospital. I have yet to get that information. I did send in a complaint, a grievance against the hospital, so I can speak on it. They did do their little denial because, eventually, of course, they're going to do that. But in their denials, they left out the fact that I did send in a complaint about them saying that I barred them against their will in a room against their will. They left that out. And like you said, in the court of law, it's going to come to where they're going to have to tell the truth. They're going to have to.
If anything, the patient relations lady, she was the one who actually stood in the door. And she was the one who was blocking the door. Nobody else blocked the door. She was the one who blocked the door. Because we kept asking her to leave and she wouldn't leave.
So did the hospital, so now all of a sudden the hospital has no video surveillance all of a sudden, especially to entrances?
They claim that it's a certain way you have to get things here. So, yeah, I guess it depends on who you is.
They got to get subpoenaed, in other words.
Yeah, and then even when you subpoena, they want you to do a what is it called? Compel. All that do is give them time to redact stuff, man. And it's been over a year.
I'll tell you, y'all definitely gonna be in for a fight. You know what I'm saying? And it could be 2, 3, 4 years. But the thing about it is they want you to do exactly what they thought you was gonna do when you first came to Texas and run back to Tennessee and forget it. But y'all, y'all can't let it go. Y'all have to continue to apply pressure, and we're gonna continue to help. Like, we're open to this, and that's the reason why we open this platform, is because now we're gonna fight with you. So it's always. I don't care if we have to come every 3 months and do and bring this back up again on a social platform to keep awareness going. We have to do what we got to do.
And I get it. I understand. It's most people in the world are officer friendly, no matter if they innocent or guilty. I get it. They're gonna look at a person like me with dreads, and it's easy to make me look like a guilty person. But I'm not the defendant. Keep that in mind, people. I'm not the defendant. I didn't kill my daughter. My granddaughter didn't kill her. Demetrius Cosby didn't kill her. Katerius Cosby didn't kill her. Alvin Caravilla, Dallas police officer, killed my daughter. So when I say that, I'm saying this because that altered my whole life. That night, I had to move from Tennessee to Texas and just leave everything behind. All of my belongings, all of my kids' belongings. My 14-year-old, he's 15 now. My 12-year-old, she's 13 now. They came with me. I have been having custody of my kids for over 10 years. Now, they had, their mother, she didn't have the luxury of coming down here. She's only been able to visit because she's disabled. So on our income, we are here transferred from Tennessee to Texas. My rent went from being $215 a month and needed that help because of my income to being here in Texas to where our rent is $2,500 a month. And my whole check that I draw a month goes towards rent. I have a medical condition where, I don't like to tell people, but people remember who worked with me in the past, how I used to pass out at work and fall on the machines. I became a liability, and my muscles tear easily because I have muscular vascular syndrome. So yeah, they rip and they tear easily. That's just how it is. If I do things, too much, too long, and the supervisors, they were like, look, man, you too much of a liability. And I tried to hold on to that for a long time. So what I'm saying is, my whole check goes towards the rent. And I'm left with nothing at the end of the month to go through the month, the next month. And I don't, sit around and quit because of that. But I feel like without no help from this defendant and nobody else that's involved, it's almost as if they're trying to run us off because the bills are stacking up. The baby bills are stacking up. They're charging me for those things. I'm in trouble financially because of this situation, and I didn't put myself in this situation. I didn't ask to be in this situation. I wish I wasn't in this situation. Alvin Kerr Phillip put me in this situation. I need help, man. But
they want you to
like I
feel
said,
desperate.
people.
We definitely got to seek justice for you, and we definitely gonna push that GoFundMe, and James got your cash out, right?
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the screen right now for everybody that don't know that $ GQ9117 is his official cash app. You will see it as a business title, but that is definitely his cash app. So anybody that can help, please, could you donate, please? If not, somebody else also tagged his GoFundMe. That's in place. We need to get these people taken care of and help them with their fight. I mean, we all gonna need this time, some kind of help somewhere. Nobody should be ashamed. I don't care if it's 50 cents, $1, $10, whatever. It's going to be appreciated.
Any support will be gratefully appreciated. Any support.
Yeah, definitely help because I have appointments for the baby that I have to go to, and sometimes we have to call those appointments off because of the travel. You got to have gas to go places, I have low tires need replaced. It's just a lot of things that I have to do with this baby and the traveling. I want the traveling to be as safe as possible. We did fill out for victims crime compensation for the baby and Aquazia. We filled out 2 of them. We did not receive them because, like again, they said that they don't help like that because it was considered a citation. Her death was not a citation. So I'll say again, thank you guys, man, for having us, and to the world, man. It's like I said, anybody that's watching, what would you do if it was your daughter?
Yep.
As patient as I was throughout the year, you didn't hear from me. But just imagine how respectful that is to just go through the whole year being patient, waiting on anybody from the law enforcement to come with any kind of information, knowing that the investigation was already over with. And you still don't know from them what's going on at all. But all you do know is your loved one, your daughter, or your son. It could be anybody. It could he gonna end up killing somebody else. It could be anybody in your family that you care about is sitting there dead in real reality, but you're being ignored. That's not how you're supposed to do it. What kind of message does that send? Just imagine, what it's almost like, okay, you go out and allegedly, just think, you go out and you can hit somebody with your vehicle from behind and call your friends and they come and cover it up. The police, they shouldn't bother you then. You supposed to be able to use what he did as a defense and get out of trouble. You don't never supposed to get in trouble for hitting somebody else's car from behind and killing them, is what they're saying.
Right. Yep.
Wrong message.
Definitely.
That's the wrong message to send to people.
So,
hey Quincy, this is can you hear me, Quincy?
Yes.
Listen, I'm out here in New York. What I'm gonna do for you, I run a lot of charity basketball events out here in New York. James could tell you what I do. I'm gonna set up a couple basketball events for you under your daughter's name with permission, if that's okay by you. and whatever proceeds I got, I'm gonna send it your way. And if you need help to get to appointments, let me know. I'll give you my Uber information because I do get a massive discount to help you at least get to your appointments from point A to point B.
That's wired up, man. I like that. You got my permission.
All right. I just wanted to make sure I got your permission to do so. I'll send you the video, so all the everything I do, so you could be linked up to it and stuff like that. And all the proceeds I collect, I'll make sure I send them out to you through Cash App or whatever you feel comfortable doing. All right.
Right. I did deal with the GoFundMe thing. If people want to send there, that's understood.
Okay.
I did have trouble with the GoFundMe when the funeral was actually going on, and the more people sent, it ended up being this high charge, and we still had to come out of pocket and pay over $4,000 more out of pocket. Actually, I didn't even get to bury her yet. So I kept her body in the freezer for over 6 months and just went ahead and had her cremated. But we still want to do an iron and have a burial in Tennessee.
Okay.
So majority of people who knew her for the majority of her life, where she was born at in Tennessee, can come to the funeral to the burial who wasn't able to come to the funeral in Texas. But that's going to take money.
Okay.
I haven't been able to bury her in a sense, it's a year later. And to have a burial for her daughter future, where her daughter will be able to go visit a grave site.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely gonna try to work out avenues and work out ways to get that to happen. I think we can come up with like Raul said, we can come up with a few things, and we know a few people to where we can try to make that happen.
All appreciation, man. All appreciation. I definitely can tell, and I feel like I'm not alone. I know for a fact, as a police officer, he has plenty of people with him. As shown, he has plenty of people with him, and they stand. And there's a lot of them that's not though. I believe there's a lot of police officers who believe in making what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
He got his army, and you got yours. So we definitely.
Yeah. We're ready to go to war. We're gonna keep going to war until it's over.
I'm definitely gonna go to war for you, man.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And my condolences to you, Quincy, and to you, Mom.
Thank you.
Definitely.
May God bless y'all, man. We're gonna keep praying for y'all, and we're gonna do everything we can for you guys. You know what I'm saying? To try to get y'all some more support with you, Quincy, on trying to get what you need to get, trying to get you there.
Yeah, the mom, that's Jennifer Thomas. She's in Tennessee, and she, she been there with her other kids, and she had a hard life herself. She went through having a brain aneurysm that altered everything with her, and she has the biggest aneurysm recorded in the world in the inside of her brain, and it's a magical wonder that she's still hanging on after something like this. But yeah, she's up there in Tennessee, and I'm down here in Texas. She's up there trying to get things done on her end, and I'm down here trying to get things done on my end. But like I was saying, I can say that everything that's happened from January of 2024 up to now, man, I wouldn't wish this on nobody. This is just horrible, man, and I feel like I'm being for real, man. I really feel like it's like the Twilight Zone. My whole life was altered because of his actions, his callous, reckless actions, and his other officers who are involved in this obstruction and allowing my daughter to sit there and transition while they search the vehicle.
I mean, all the way to the hospital too, man. We got to keep it going. All the way to the hospital as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So
everybody that had a hand in this, seemed like it was faulty.
Yeah, it's a huge cover up. At this point, it's not just a crime, it's murder because it's a cover up. It's murder.
Yeah,
And
I
we're
agree.
gonna uncover it. I mean, if they don't want to do the job, we're gonna press them to do the job. So they can hear it first. They can guarantee to start seeing us at least every 3 months in a big uproar, or if not more. And they're gonna continue to hear it until you get some justice. Till both of you parents get some justice in your family.
Correct. I agree.
Thank
All
you.
true.
We definitely appreciate you all for sharing your story, and we're gonna be reaching out, asking is it okay to do some things or connect y'all in on some things or with some people, and let's just try to make this right, and we're gonna try to help cushion whatever blow that y'all taking right now as much as possible.
All right.
Thank you.
God bless.
It took major courage to do what y'all did tonight.
No doubt.
All right. So I guess we can wrap this up. You said what, Griff?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said, God bless that grandbaby, Skylin.
Right. Right.
Truly,
Yeah, she was labeled the America baby, but they don't do nothing to help the America baby. They don't even talk about the America baby. That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because they said it was a miracle that she survived that long without the oxygen, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, move on. You Google America babies in Dallas, she don't show up. You see other babies, but you don't see her.
GI miracle, baby. Her mom living through it, baby. You're blessed.
Yeah.
It's all right. We gonna show up, so it's all good.
Definitely.
All right, so I let everybody get up out of here, and Quincy, we're gonna be touching bases, and as you see fit, when you get anything refreshing or anything new or anything y'all want to bring your family in on and you want to speak about, be sure to let me know. We're gonna bring it to the forefront. We just can't let up off of them though. Sometimes we start stuff and we don't finish. We can't let up off of them. That's for sure.
And to the people that was on that post laughing, that's not cool, man. But I'm gonna remain respectful. And I'm gonna just say this: this can happen to anybody.
Yep. Thank everybody for coming in. Thank everybody for the shares. We really appreciate everything. And remember, even when the video is done, hey, people, feel free to go back and watch it. It's gonna happen a lot anyway. And just share it. We want to share this story. Continue to share it.
Please appreciate everybody.
He a crazy kid.
All right, thank you,
Tell my
everybody.
grandbaby I love her.
Thank you all.
You said what?
Tell my grandbaby I love her.
She love you too.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Later.